All right, everybody, I'd like to welcome you to our first afternoon session, Pushing the Point of Sale. So if you're a dealer, then this is probably a lot of good stuff and a lot of good expertise that you will be needing. So thank you for showing up. And we had 3 morning sessions already. And if you missed the fireworks that went on between David Kim of Verizon Value and Peter Adderton of Mobile X, then sorry you missed that. But it was kind of interesting. It's all in the good spirit of competition, but it definitely was spirited. So. But I'm just glad that our list of speakers keeps getting better and better every year, and the attendance is going up. I think I mentioned this morning that we had record attendance this year, and I've lost count of how many years in a row we've had record attendance, and I can tell you that it's more than 4,000 people are attending this year, and our booth space has nearly doubled. And clearly, as you can tell from the Cherrie executives speaking this morning and all the other executives who are speaking as well, the show just keeps getting better and better. And so with that, the Pushing the Point of Sale session is now starting, now that we've worked out all the bugs in the technology. And I would like to introduce you to the 2 gentlemen who will be leading this session. And so there was a very similar session last year, and that was led by Adam Wolf, who of course is a veteran of this show for many, many years. How many years have you been here, Adam? About 5 or 6 years. And he lives in New Jersey, and I've been known to invade his state of New Jersey and have lunch with him. So, definitely somebody. I don't think anybody fights for the dealers any harder than Adam does. So if you don't know about NWIDA, I recommend NWIDA.org. And personally, I follow it for the news items he puts up there. So, and he's been on the Boon of Wireless podcast as well very recently. And Jon Horovitz here, by the way, has a booth here, and he's doing the Boon of Wireless podcast. And I think we counted up about 6 people at this conference who are speaking and who have been on the Boon of Wireless podcast, which is this very rapidly growing and already respected podcast. And the other gentleman who's going to be leading this session is Mark Landiak, who is the president of Corporate Dynamics. And I guess that's probably the most prominent retail telecom training firm in the United States. I believe they operate out of Michigan and Florida. I think Mark lives in Michigan. So if you are a dealer and you really want to make your staff as productive as they can possibly be, you should probably be talking to Mark. And so with that, I will turn the podium over to Mark and Adam.
All right. Step on up here, Adam. All right, hey everybody. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for waiting. We'll try and make this worthwhile for you.
Never put your presentation on a flash drive that can possibly get corrupted.
Or put it on one that has been corrupted in the first place and then not checked.
It was cheap.
Okay. All right, so you said. All right, well, welcome. We hope to have a good show for you this afternoon. As you can see, we have enough panelists to pretty much staff an audience. So with that, let's go ahead and do some introductions, shall we?
Sure.
Larry, would you like to kick us off here?
Glad to. Come around here.
Well, I had a different order. I'm sorry. I just flashed that.
Well, sit down, Larry.
I'll sit down.
Ed.
Hey everybody, I'm Ed Hugener with AWPE. Real quick about AWPE, I know we'll each have a few minutes, but on a high level, accidents happen every day. And I don't know if you actually saw this. My friend John just spilled water on my computer literally like 2 minutes ago. So it's soaking wet up here. But at AWPE, we provide device protection solutions in a bunch of different verticals, especially in retail. So if you are working the retail space, prepaid, repair, we have great solutions for you that I'll talk about here in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Jon Horovitz.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Hi everybody. My name is David Cherrie. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Arcade, and I was a sales associate in Australia in wireless, and I was very highly productive when I was engaged and incredibly mediocre when I was not engaged. And so developed a solution to help maximize the excitement and engagement of the frontline employees that are really the people that are hopefully executing on the sales themselves. So that's what we do.
Go ahead, John. Yeah.
Hi. Yes, we just had a bounty moment up here when I knocked my entire cup of water on Ed's computer, but he's got protection on it, which is good. Jon Horovitz, I am the founder and lead consultant for Atrium Unlimited Consulting. I bring 33 years of experience to the wireless business with major carriers like Nextel, AT&T Wireless, Boost Mobile. Now today I'm been called an MVNO expert. People call and want to be an MVNO, but they don't know what it is, what it takes, and so I try to put them together with the right pillars that need to be done to be a successful MVNO, whether it's direct with a carrier or through an aggregator. I also represent a few companies that have products and services that we get into MVNOs and large retail chains. And I started the Boon of Wireless podcast in February. So I think out of the 5 people up here this morning, 3 have been on the podcast and 1 more is going to be on it in about a month.
I'm gonna stand up, but that's okay, because I'm kind of hidden back here, but I am not Chris Kennedy, so we're just gonna throw some surprises at you guys. My name is actually Evan Uyetake. I'm the Western Director for Perfect Vision, and Chris was not able to be here today, so I'm actually filling in for him. So this is gonna be fun for me, because we're winging this a little bit, but the really exciting thing about specifically this session is adding value, monetizing customer bases. That is right up our alley. That's actually what we do. We help people with storefronts, people with face-to-face sales, monetize their customer bases. So I'm excited to get into that a little bit more so you guys can find out more products and opportunities that you can put in front of your customers.
I always like going last. My name is Larry Roches. I'm the CEO of RTO Mobile. I co-founded the company with a partner of mine, and we help stores create payment plans of their own for their customers so they can afford the device that they want, and they can make payments then to the store that the store gets to keep the profit. How many here operate or own multi-carrier cell stores? Okay, how many here own or operate a repair store? Okay, good. So the entire panel is going to have relevant discussion for all of you here. Thanks much.
Thanks, Larry. You're welcome. And how many of you are dealers otherwise that didn't raise your hand, but you're a dealer? All right, another quick question. How many of you have 10 stores or more? Okay, only a couple of us. That's surprising. All right, great. Well, let's go ahead and get rolling.
You've already met us, so we'll skip this part. Doing that.
What we want to do is we want to talk today about a format that first starts off with a common problem that as a wireless retailer, you're probably facing. So we have asked all the panelists to talk in terms of something that they see when they're out in the market talking to their customers, which is you. And have something in common in terms of the problems that we're trying to solve as a business. Then go into the solution set and say, these are some of the ways that we've approached that problem. And those can be their products and services, but they might also be some strategies that they've used or deployed to help address that issue. And then finally, the thing that probably all of you are most concerned about is, what are the results? What are the kind of results that other dealers have seen through using these best practices or these best practice solutions? And did I leave anything out?
No, the only thing that I want to add is one of the things that NWIDA does as the Trade and Advocacy Association for Dealer, and that we actually work very closely with Mark and Corporate Dynamics, is dealers learning from dealers. What have other dealers done in the past? What has made them successful? And how can we get that knowledge to dealers, to other dealers? NWIDA is in a sense, all about building and maintaining and growing the dealer community. We're all doing the same thing. We're all doing it in different areas, but there are problems that these people over here may have faced that you guys are just starting to face. And we want to get dealers helping dealers. That's one of the things that we really work on. That being said, we're going to bring David up to talk about his problem and his solution. Ed?
I can speak to Echo.
He can speak, he can read. Now I'm back. Anyway, we'll let Ed do it, and
Pull the mic out. Oh, no, come on over.
come on up before we electrocute you.
I kind of want to distance myself from John.
That's a good move.
All right, hey everybody. Once again, Ed Hugener with AWPE. So the problem we're going to discuss today is wireless retailers are struggling to find new products to drive additional revenue in their locations. And it's really cool to see all the hands raised for all of those in the repair shops and all the prepaid shops, because that's kind of what I focus on specifically. So let's move to the solutions to this problem. So before I dig into this, I want to give you a little bit more information about what we do at AWPE, especially on the retail side. So we give you the ability to drive revenue by selling protection plans for devices. So think cell phones. We have 4 plans. They're $5, $8, $11, and $15. Starting at screen coverage only, all the way up to our staple AWPE Everything plan that is $15. It covers 1 phone and up to 25 other devices. So think about that for a second. We'll just pause there. 1 phone and 25 other devices for $15 a month. If you go to a carrier, you're going to get insurance at Verizon, for instance, for $19 a month for 1 phone. So now with that $15 plan, I can put my phone on there, my watch, my iPad, my kids' gaming consoles, TVs, whatever I want to put on there, right? So that's kind of what we offer. And the reason that we're able to do these protection offerings so much more affordably than the carriers is we cut out the middleman. In the retail space, we also give you guys the ability to do repairs for us. So think of like a circular revenue stream where you get paid to sell our plans, then also get paid to do our repairs for the plans that you sell, as well as other repairs that come from different verticals within our business. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to push insurance products in your store. So the solution, the top one, is how do you make more money? By offering AWPE device protection, right? It's pretty simple. I just mentioned that. The great thing about this product is it doesn't cost you anything to sell it. It doesn't cost you anything for inventory, and it's an easy add-on that you can build into any sort of existing sales process. So it's kind of, it fits for everybody. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be selling this if you're not doing it already. One of the things that we're working on too, and we've already have some partners, has to do with the point of sale. So we're working with building this into a point of sale so it becomes more of a process for your reps. So if you have the ability to add pop-ups and anything that you're using, or maybe using some of our partners that are part of integrated with us in the point of sale, it just makes the process a lot more seamless and becomes like an every occurring, for every sale it's getting paid. The second piece is bundling it. So we have the ability now, in addition to selling monthly plans, we can do annual plans. And I'll talk about this. It's kind of cool how this builds in like the leasing and financing, but you can sell some of these lower price, maybe like the $5 plan, which is screen protection only, $60, right? You can bundle that into something else, maybe for $100, where you throw in a screen protector, you throw in a case, any sort of product that you sell or service that really has a really high perceived value and low cost to you is a great way to make a bundle, helping you guys with higher attachment rates. So that's the second piece of how you can bundle it. Especially with those annual plans, it becomes very easy to do so. And finally, the third one is leasing and financing packages. So Larry is going to talk to you more about this too, about what he does at RTO, but some of you that aren't doing leasing or financing now or using RTO, it's something you really need to look into because it's an insane way to add more revenue to your business. Now, the other thing you want to do if you're actually going to be owning the risk of those devices, if you're going to do it yourself, you will really want to make sure those devices are protected. What's going to happen is if you lease out a device and someone breaks it, or maybe they lose it or gets stolen, they're at a higher risk of like fleeing and kind of just disappearing, right? But if they have protection, it's going to help lower that churn from the leasing and financing payments. So it's a great way to just help protect your investment in the device and make sure those payments keep continuing on the leasing and financing programs. So with that, I'm done. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So hopefully you guys, if you're interested in learning more about AWPE, we have results. retailers promoting and service, well, you can read this, but it's a great way to add more revenue. Some of our shops are averaging anywhere between $50 and $45 a year, depending on the location, just in terms of the upfront commissions for some of the plans, as well as the repair business that they're getting on the back. So, great opportunity to boost revenue with no inventory. If you guys want to learn more, we have a booth over at number 208. We'd love to talk more about it and field your questions when everyone else is done. Thanks, guys.
One of the things that we're going to do, guys, is write your questions down. When all the speakers have gone through their 5 minutes of problem, solution, and results, then we'll talk a little bit about what your questions might be. There's one word that Ed used a number of times in his presentation that I think everybody should write down, and that's process, right? He talked about making sure that your sales team has a process for whatever it is that you're representing on that side of the business, on the equipment protection side of the business. What is your process for making sure that they convey that to the customer? And then there's another piece of that too, and that's the process for your managers to reinforce that messaging on a daily basis as they've observed them in action, okay? So, yeah, thank you. That was one of my takeaways from it. I wanted to share that one with you. Process is a really important word there. Adam, anything you want to add?
The only thing that I want to add is that there's going to be a QR code at the end for you guys to download the presentation, so you don't have to take pictures. We'll also have it available at the NWIDA booth. So,
who's up next, my friend?
now you. Okay.
Well, g'day everybody. It's exciting to be here and share with you guys probably a perspective that's different to the rest of the folks here, in that I think we all have employees that are in the stores that are responsible to execute on selling the insurance, selling the accessories, selling the lease to own. If your employees do not know how to sell it and not engaged to actually do it, don't have best practices, you will be losing a lot of opportunity. And show of hands, who here has started their career working as a sales associate on the shop floor? There we go. Me too. And I think it taught me so many valuable skills. First and foremost, how to handle rejection. As a millennial, that was a very hard thing for me to learn. And Gen Zs, I'm sure if you're hiring people, they're usually entry-level folks. So that was a big thing. Skills around that. Also, problem solving. And I think a big part of what we want to do is focus, at least my presentation, on engaging that frontline rep to execute really well. The problem is that they're usually pretty complacent. If they don't have the skills, obviously they can't execute. And then you also have high rep turnover, right? In this day and age, they can go work anywhere. What makes working with you worthwhile? Driving to the store, actually being physically there, and all that kind of thing. And so one of the things that we really focus on is now how do we reduce the rep turnover, and we do that exactly how Mark said. It's around process. And I think a big part of that is tying that process to best practices that will help you execute at the point of sale. Because let me tell you, the best way to retain employees, especially new employees, is if they're winning. If they're earning, hopefully you've got a commission structure where if they make sales, they earn as well. If they're winning and earning, they will stay longer with you. That will save you from having to rehire, retrain, re-ramp. So one of the ways that I think that is really practical is look at best practices. I have a couple. I actually we're in thousands and thousands of retail stores. And so I get the privilege of just seeing how the best in class do it. The retailers with hundreds of locations and the things that they've done to optimize. One thing that works really well is make it simple for your employees. Give them a package or a bundle that they offer to every single customer. When I was a retail rep, my manager taught me this thing. He just said, whenever you're sitting a customer down to do, whether it's a repair or they're signing up for the plan, just go over to the wall, pick 2 cases, stick it down with the screen protector and say, hey, this comes with the bundle. It's the essentials, screen protector, case, wall charger. Which color do you like? That simple process helped me literally triple my accessory sales. And especially if you're a retailer right now, accessory sales is the lifeblood. That's cash in the till. You know, it's also good as a retailer because you're getting paid, you can pay that rep in real time. And I highly encourage you getting commissions or rewards to your reps as soon as possible, because what you do is you start to reinforce that behavior. We say at Arcade, compensation drives behaviors, and you want those behaviors to drive the revenue. So there's a whole bunch of best practices like that, but make it simple for the reps. So give them a bundle, just give them the best practice, and then it's about process and reinforcement and accountability. So that's the solution. I would love to chat with you. Hopefully it comes up in the Q&A. I only have a few minutes, but there's a lot of different things that you can do that will really make executing on the sales really simple for your employees. That's key, and especially if you introduce new products like lease to own, insurance. Some of that's kind of scary and complicated, especially if you're an employee, you've never done it before. So if you can help reinforce the best practices for them, you will execute wonderfully at the point of sale. The results that we see, number one, is you will retain new people for longer. Within the first 90 days, that is the best time to retain new employees, and it's the most preventable turnover. Most people leave because they have no idea how they earn money. They get paid minimum wage at your job, and they have no idea what sales is actually going to bring to them. So if you can give them like a path to winning early, that's going to be huge. But I have to wrap up. So anyway, thank you. Cheers.
Well done. Before you go, I just wanted to mention a couple of things from David's, especially with regard to Gen Zers. Probably most of you don't allow them to bring their comfort pets into the store, right, with them. So one of the things is we've got, he's talked a lot about skills, and that's another word for you to write down out of this one, is looking at the skills. Because especially with Gen Z, is if you can build skills, you can build competence. And if you can build competence in your team, you will build confidence in their interactions that they have with every single customer. And I think that's one of the things that David has worked on very, very hard with his solution, and I encourage you to kind of look at that. The other thing he talked about was problem solving. And he's got an interesting solution for how to help your reps become better problem solvers with their customers, which is certainly asking the right questions, right? And that's some of the things that your store managers should be listening for, is are your reps asking the right questions? You might write that one down if you don't know if they are or not. And then paying in real time is another really good one. But the other thing I pulled out of there is he used the word win. Sales and Marketing Management magazine says the number one trait that determines whether a salesperson is going to be successful with your company or not is their inner desire to win. It's a tough thing to measure, and when you're interviewing, you should be interviewing for that. How do you do that? You ask them about their achievements, you ask them about their accomplishments, and you ask them to describe how they came to that point in detail. And when you do that, you'll get a better hire that will stay with you longer. So thank you, David. That's a number of really good points I got out of your presentation.
Let me just throw one thing in. One of the things, if you're not familiar, it's another shameless plug, but that's okay. If you're not familiar with NWIDA, one of the things that we do as a trade association is that we take our buying power and get you discounts on products and services that you are using and that you are selling, and one of those happens to be Arcade. So if you're looking to implement Arcade, and if you have more than 2 employees, you should be looking to implement Arcade. Make sure you come by the NWIDA booth because you're going to save money before you even talk to them. With that, I know Jon is going to talk about one of the vendors that he works with that is directly involved with accessory sales, and how dealers can increase accessory sales without the risk of increasing their inventory.
Thank you, Adam. First of all, I'd like to thank 3 clients of mine that made the time to come here today. First of all, the gentleman back there from New York Mobile. We'll be launching an MVNO in about 6 weeks. We'll be the first MVNO that will allow you to choose your own number, all right, in all across the country, with a focus on, of course, New York State, but everywhere across the country, and we'll look for that very soon. So let's talk about, I'll talk about my other friends that are here. Let's talk about what 3 ways that I see from my experience to increase revenue at the point of sale. And the first is device protection, which you've heard about. So I'm not gonna talk about that too much, but when I was running Boost up in the Northeast, I had a 37% attachment rate, and which was unheard of, and that gives you a sticky customer. Sell device protection, and you'll keep your customers. Number 2 is training. Very important is training. The carriers spend, and MVNOs spend billions of dollars in marketing and advertising, and if your frontline salesperson doesn't know how to properly explain the promotion of the product, you're not going to win. They have to know how to do that, and one of the things that we preached to our dealer network was when there's downtime, there's not people in the stores all the time, so that's when you do your training. We used to do pizzas at night and donuts in the morning. That's kind of old hat. But one of my vendors is here that has a unique training peer-to-peer. Dr. Wei's son is with us today from UpDuo. I met with a very recognizable household name MVNO this morning that up until a couple months ago was only digital e-commerce, and now they have about 30 retail locations. And I said, how do you train these people? He said, well, we jump on a plane and we go train them. And I said, that's very inefficient. You need to take a look at the peer-to-peer training and all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of things that are out there. But more importantly, and I think it was touched on briefly, is the accessory market. I can't read that, but the accessory, oh, there it is. You're not maximizing your profit opportunities because in your retail stores, you have a limited amount of space to sell accessories on your slat wall. Also, when people go to your website, whether you're an MVNO or a big dealer or a small dealer, you don't have that. So the solution that was brought in by a company called CXC, and the president and founder is right back there, Alexander Phillips, if you'd like to speak with him, a wonderful gentleman. They allow you to, through their platform, is to show at the point of sale, whether it's digital or whether it's retail, show them all the accessories. So when the iPhone 16 comes out, the salesperson in the store can take you over to the computer, iPhone 16, and drop down about 300-400 accessories that you don't have room for. You can order them, they'll ship to you next day if you get it in by a certain time, and the retailer has zero cost. You don't carry that inventory. You basically get invoiced by the company at the end of the month, and you keep your profit margin with no upfront money. It's a great system, and it's allowed people to expand the breadth of the accessories that they're carrying at zero cost, and the same online. When what you want to do is get that customer before they leave your store and go to Amazon. Sell them a accessory for the phone that they currently have or a new purchase. And the statistics of people that are buying accessories are in excess of a new phone of $120. That's pure profit, okay? Especially when you have a zero carrying cost. So I encourage you to reach out to myself or to Alexander, and thank you all for your time today.
Thank you, John. Outstanding. Since I like to do these little recaps for you, of course, training is huge for all of us, right? But it's not just training, it's proper training. It's how exactly are you doing training? It fits in with the word that we had earlier of process, right? What's our process for training our folks? But not just our salespeople, but our store managers. If you're not training your store managers how to follow through on training with your salespeople, that training will get lost. It gets lost, they say, within 3 days of introducing a message. That training is gone. And that's why solutions like UpDuo that John mentioned, and I would really highly encourage you to take a look at the training solution that is skills training, since skills was one of our other words, that David's company Arcade offers. And I can say unequivocally that they have the best accessory curriculum in the United States. And I can say that because we helped develop it, but but carriers don't care about your accessory sales, do they? I mean, realistically, they don't care that much about how well you're doing on accessories, but you sure do. And as it was mentioned, boy, that's where a lot of your livelihood lies. So definitely check out that platform and say, hey, show me this training thing on the accessory side. I know that you will be very impressed. And with that, Adam, anything to add there?
No, we're gonna bring Evan up and let him do your stuff.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I don't have slides, so I'm going to go about this a little bit differently. But I first of all want to clear the air a little bit. A lot of people think that because our name is Perfect Vision that we're in the optometry business. We are not. So I want to kind of set your mind at ease on that. It's really more of it's more of an idea, right? So when you think of a perfect vision for your business, what does that look like? Like, where are you going? What is the clarity? What are the choices that you're making to get you to what you're trying to accomplish? And that's where we really want to come alongside you and help you identify what's best for your business. I want to ask a quick question here. How many people here, look, you guys love raising your hands. I've seen a couple hands go. How many of you guys would say that you're in the wireless business? Okay. That's a pretty good amount of people. How many would say that you're in the problem-solving business? I think every hand should be raised when it comes to that, because literally the products and solutions that we're providing people is how we're making revenue. That's how we're generating funds. And the entire purpose of this is we have a problem. We have a problem that we want to either make more money, we want to optimize revenue, we want to grow our current businesses, we want to grow. We want to get that perfect vision of where we're going. And so I would look at your problem as more of what is your customer's problem? How are we solving our customer's problem? And so you have people coming every single day to your store locations. They're asking you a question: can you fix this? Can you solve this? Can you help with this? And hopefully the answer is yes. And so for us, we recognize that you already have a market. You have a market that's coming in that wants to buy something, or they want a problem solved, but they have other problems that maybe you don't necessarily know about unless you ask about it. And so I would say this: how many people here live in a house or a home of some kind? Come on, guys. These are easy questions. These are layups. These are easy. Everybody here lives. How many has an internet connection in their home? Every single one of you. Has that internet connection, the price ever gone up? Yeah. That's a problem. Okay. So knowing that you have, of our sample size here, 100% of people that are walking into your store, they live in a residence of some kind, they're going to have an internet connection of some kind. There's an opportunity there, and they probably are paying a little bit more. You just got to really find that solution. So the reason I bring all that stuff up is when we're looking at the amount of people coming into your store, you really can't control the amount of people coming into your store. Like, you can't get more people unless you spend more money on marketing. But what you can do is you can maximize every single opportunity that comes into that location. So what I would say to you is first this: I would sell them what they're there for. Solve their first problem. Once you solve the first problem, that opens the door for rapport. It opens the door for a relationship to where you can present and potentially solve other problems for them. At that point, that's where you would start to ask questions about accessories. That's where you start to ask questions about device protection. I would encourage you, just from a selfish standpoint, my perfect vision for your business would be: what are some other verticals that you can add to your business to help you grow your revenue? Specifically things that are not in inventory, so it's not going to cost you any additional funds to do that. It's not going to take up additional slat wall space. All it's going to be is more knowledge and ease of use for you to do that. And that's where products like video, broadband, home security, any kind of home service product that you have that you can put in front of that customer can really benefit you. The other thing that I'd encourage you to do this from a solution standpoint is: what are you doing to engage with your customers after the sale? You guys have heard of lifetime value of a customer? Does that kind of ring a bell? Is that important to you? If a customer walks into your store, they spend $500, they spend $1,000, they spend $5, is that all that customer's worth to you? Or is there more opportunity there? I would encourage you, if you're not selling accessories, you are not making the most potential revenue or solving as many problems as you potentially could, because they already said the big A word in here, right? Amazon. Your customer can go on Amazon and find everything that they want, but they'd rather buy it from you. They'd rather have you solve that problem. And so what I would encourage you to do is re-engage with that customer, whether it be through email, through text message, and provide them solutions to other problems maybe they don't know that you solve. And so that marketing, that re-engagement, that retargeting is going to put you in a position where now you become the authority. You become the problem solver that they're going to go to first to solve that problem for them. If their cable rate went up, their internet bill went up, and you're talking about it, they're going to ask you because they trust you. That's the beauty of being local. That's the beauty of being face-to-face. That's the beauty of relationship. All of those different problems that they have, you can solve. They might not even know that they have them yet. You just got to ask them the question. And the really interesting thing is this, and I'll kind of leave it with this, because obviously the results is revenue, right? So the products that we sell, there's commissions, right? And we already talked about it. Success breeds success. Your salespeople start selling. They start making more money. You retain them. You keep them. If you have really good salespeople, guess what? Other companies want your salespeople. If you spent the time and effort to train them and they leave because they're not making enough money, you did a wonderful job launching them in their career, but you didn't get the benefit from that. And last I checked, especially when it comes to like retail and some of this other stuff, it's a revolving door of training, right? You're constantly hiring and training and developing people to potentially lose them. So what would you put a value on even your employees to say, how do I keep them so that I can pay them more without impacting my payroll? I can implement more commissions and more other products that they can make additional funds on, that I can keep them and retain them, which I think is going to be beneficial for all of us. So all that to say, from a perfect vision standpoint and from what we're trying to do, I just want you to look differently at every customer that comes in your door. And don't look at them as just a problem that you're solving right now, but what the problems that you can solve for them in the future with any suite of products that you have. We've already heard about a bunch of those, but I would encourage you to expand beyond even mobility in some capacity, because you guys are in the problem-solving business. You're not exclusively in the wireless business. The wireless business is your niche, but that creates that opportunity for you guys to sell more. So, thank you.
In the time we have left, we're going to do a Q&A. And oh, Larry. Sorry, Larry. My best friend over there on the end, I forget about.
We'll do a Q&A in a couple of minutes. Great.
Well, hopefully what I'm going to talk about will help tie a lot of what we've heard together and wrap this up. We're going to talk about two case scenarios, two case situations of multi-carrier store, and these could be a repair shop as well that sells devices, repairs devices. And these are both stores that are mid-size, not necessarily large stores, maybe 40 to 50 boxes a month, boxes being a device sale. So the problem is that we are all facing, and customers coming into these two particular stores are facing something the whole economy is facing, and that's inflation. Inflation has hit the prepaid market in subtle ways, but material ways in terms of customers and the impact it has on their personal lives and their availability of funds to buy devices. If you track the impact of inflation on these customers, it's been severe. They have less disposable income in a major way, which means that they walk into a store and they want a good phone. They need a good phone. It's not a luxury item anymore. The free phone, they know, they've had that experience, it's going to last them a couple of months. But many of them depend on a good phone in their household for their internet connection. So they need a good device, good antenna, good battery life, and those phones are going to run $500, $600, $700 and up. You know that. That's a lot of money to spend all at once. So stores that don't have a solution to help that customer afford that day are going to experience the customer walking out the store. Now the industry paradigm, of course, is to say, well, wait, I can have you fill out this application for a financing company, and maybe you, if you qualify, if you do, then you can have that phone today. Well, stores that do that have learned that they'll experience anywhere between a 40 and 60% decline rate. That is the customer being told, no, they're not good enough, they don't qualify, so no. So you've just brought a customer into that experience, which is not a good experience, and they're attaching that experience to your store. So the solution to these two companies, these two stores that were experiencing that problem of declining sales because of inflation, very expensive phones becoming unaffordable, they decided to put in a solution that allowed them to create their own payment plans and bring the control of that back to them and not outsource to third-party finance companies. And that's done through a platform, a software platform that lets the store create the plan, approve the customer, receive all the payments, and earn the profit that would otherwise go to the third-party finance company. These stores and many others have had remarkable results using that platform. And everyone thinks right away, but oh my word, what if the customer does not pay? I've just lost money. Yes, you might have. On the other hand, the statistics would show that you've collected an advance payment, you've collected subsequent payments, and there's a 90% chance that you would have at least covered your wholesale cost on those defaulted or incomplete payment plans. On the other hand, you would also know that with our customers that are using our platform to create their own payment plans, their default rates are less than 10%. That is, 1 out of 10 customers won't complete their payment plan. The profitability and the results of those payment plans to the store are they retained a customer, they didn't give it away to another customer who may sell information to your competitor. They've retained their customer, they've achieved revenues that are 2 to 3 times higher on that device than it would have been if they sold it for cash. And you know, if you use a third-party finance company, you're going to get the retail price, that's it, no more. And so you did all that work to earn the customer into the store. You put your signs up, you had your employees there, you had your inventory there, you paid rent and insurance. So these stores have recognized substantial profits, multiples, and they've retained customers and not had customers walk out the door because they can't afford the device. So consider a shift in the paradigm from giving financing away to someone to doing your own in-house payment plans. And I think you'd see a world of difference. Thanks.
Thanks, Larry. A couple of quick points on, I'm going to go back to Evan's presentation for a moment. Just in his name, your perfect vision. I think that word is another good one for all of us. What's the vision that you have for your company? Every step that you take as a result of this conference in the next 4 months is going to position your business for 2025 or 2025 in a much, much better position, right? But you have to act. So one of the other things that, with Larry's presentation, one of the words that came into my head was, gosh, that's creative as heck, is being your own finance company. What a huge boost in profitability that can bring to your business. So think creatively. So what's the vision you have? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take your company? And then one of the other ones that Evan had in his presentation was choices. One of the best sales strategies is giving your customer options, right? And so choices, what are the choices that you make in your business? And how does that reflect on the front line in the choices that are being given to your customers? It just takes a little bit of creative thought for us to make our company that much better, which can make our profits that much better, right, gang? And lastly is the word relationship. What is the relationship that you have with your customers? Is it a long-term relationship that you can leverage into additional products and services and income for your business? What a great opportunity that brings for all of us. So now in the Q&A, feel free to ask a question of the entire group. We've got well over 100 years of experience here, and that's just Adam. So, what we can do is just kind of throw one out to the group. And who has the first question? If you would tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your question is. Well, okay, that's a really good one, but I can't read your mind. So if you could kind of bring that out. Yeah, tell us.
My name is Carlos from CK Wireless. With the growing, with an ever-changing business, right? And devices change, promos change. How do you stop it and regroup so you can actually execute? Because most times in wireless, we're on the run every single day. Something new. How do you position that? And have a decent work-life balance. Being a business owner, it's difficult. So, what do you guys have all the experience?
Did you guys hear that in the back? And okay. So, what's that? Well, let me repeat the question, and then please take a shot at it. So, what Carlos asked was, with all the things, the fast changes that come in our market, the promos that come, the changes from the carrier that come at us, how do you execute on new ideas like we've been talking about today, and how do you maintain a work-life balance when it seems like you wake up in the morning, you start running, and you don't stop until you run to bed exhausted? So, guys, John, you want to take the first one, and then Larry, I'll come over to you.
So you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. There's no 9 to 5. We know that, and all the people that own their own business know that. I think the most important thing is that when your stores have downtime, that's when you have them scheduled for training. Now, you may say you need to do X amount of training per day, 2 hours, 8 hours, an hour. And that's why it's very important to make sure that they're not on their phone playing games, that they're not talking to their friends. They're your employee, you're paying them for a 40-hour or more week. Make sure that you have scheduled trainings, that they're looking at new things, they're reviewing. All of us here work for one of the 3 carriers in one way or another, so, see what's coming out, stay on top of it, and from a headquarters situation, send out updates when something happens. Hey, did you guys hear about the new, etc. And make sure that they, are aware of promotions, products, accessories, device protection, all those kind of things. But you decided to do this as the owner, so you knew what you're getting into.
20 years ago, I didn't know.
Go ahead.
I can relate to the dilemma that you face, because you do have, it's a very dynamic industry. This might sound oversimplified, but profitability of your company is paramount to your ability to be more selective about what product lines are profitable and worth running after, and which ones aren't. So a really deep dive into where you're making money and where you're not, or you're marginally profitable, is very, very important, and there's some tough decisions there. Finding ways to increase profits then it lowers the noise level, because you have more wiggle room to just forget some things that are causing the noise. So I'd suggest a good hard look at what you're doing, eliminating some things perhaps that are making you run so fast, taking on some things that can really drive profits.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
So I call it the 3 Ps. It's always changing. It's people, it's products, and then it's usually processes. You might be introducing a new product line, so you've got new processes around that. You're trying to optimize processes. The key is you want to try to simplify as much as possible. So if you can focus on, I'd say number 1, prioritize. What is the burning shit right now? I think one of the things I learned just as a business leader myself is that you have fires and you have floods. The fires are really easy to spot, and especially in retail, you have fires all the time. Somebody didn't turn up to the store, customers, blah, blah, whatever. It's the floods that are very slow and pernicious, but it rots the floorboards. You have to change the foundation. So it's about understanding where are your floods happening right now. It may be a people issue right now. You've got constant turnover. You're never going to get enough respite and consistency to introduce new products and execute well. So it's about really identifying, like list all the different things that are happening and prioritize them, fix one thing at a time. So if it's people, start there. So.
All right. We have time for one more question, Jeff?
Yeah, one more question.
Guys, anybody want to throw one out? Adam, do you have anything you want to throw on the end of that, of Carlos's question?
No, I think these guys handled it pretty well. So the presentation is available for download. You can take a snap of the QR code. You can stop by our booth after the session. It's also going to be on our news and notes page on Friday. You can download it there. Thank you all for coming. I think this is actually maybe the best attended session that I've done in the past 4 years. I know Jeff mentioned this morning that this year we have more booths than the show's ever had. We've had more attendees than the show's ever had. So I want to thank you all for coming.
Thanks to our panelists.
Thanks to our panelists for coming. We hope you learned something. And I'm going to let Jeff take it from there, and I'm going to get off the stage.
And we'll hang around if you guys have any questions for any of the individual panelists.
I think we have 1 30-second thing for.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever. Like, if you have a question, feel free to shoot me an email. I'd be happy to answer or point you in the right direction as well. Like I said, I think one of the benefits of speaking with lots of retailers is we sort of see what everybody's going through, and certainly there's a lot of insight from that, so I'm happy to pass that along if that's helpful.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hey, real quick on the work-life balance question. Do you know who Stephen Covey is? Okay. Yeah, he's an author. He has an analogy about what we would call big rocks. I would encourage you to go look that up. It's basically identifying like what are the core things, the most important things for you in your business and in your personal life. Identify, prioritize those, and then you slowly start to filter in everything else behind it, and that's how you make time for it. It's intentionality, but it's specifically you identifying that first. But I would highly encourage you to look at that analogy. There's a couple of YouTube videos. He's got some great books, and I think that'll make a big difference for you.
And one of the other things that Covey says too is look at the repetitive actions that you take on a daily basis that steal your time. So kind of take a look, and as you're doing something, kind of go, gosh, could somebody else in the organization do this besides me? And if so, there's a delegation opportunity for you to kind of move that off of your plate so you have time to do the more productive things that drive sales and profit in your business. All right, did that help, Carlos? Okay, great. Jeff?
Yeah, Mark, you just mentioned profit, and yeah, I think that's the bottom line. I think that what we learned today here from the panelists, and thank you to Mark Landiak and thanks to Adam Wolf for managing this session. Good session, and I think we learned a lot of ways where hopefully everybody who's a dealer or operates a retail establishment can make a lot more money and be more profitable. So, and like Adam said, we can, if you need a copy of the presentation, by all means, there's a QR code, or just stop by the NWIDA booth and you can get it that way. And with that said, we do have a repair session coming up here in a few